It took me 2 years. I paid the IRS back, got my business back, and went on from there. But because I had that experience of the failure and then the learning of what a business really is.
Good to have you, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
He flew in just to be available for you guys. And so we've got an hour here to catch up, and we'll do some Q&A, but to kind of tip it off, I'll just have him explain to you guys what his career's looked like in the last decade or so and how you got to where you're sitting today.
Well, when I was 10 years old, my dad came to me one night and said, hey, I need your help. I'm gonna go fix a neighbor's air conditioner, and you're now the official flashlight holder. So I started back as a 10-year-old. I was enslaved in the family business, and we were in the air conditioning business. And over the course of the years, I became skilled at that trade. And in my late teens, I was out doing the work myself, selling jobs, doing that kind of stuff for the family business. And my father passed away when I was 25, and I bought the family business from my mom with a promissory note and terms and interest and a UCC filing and all that stuff. And I went and became an entrepreneur and started growing the business. Now, my dad was a kind of an owner-operator, so we never had many employees, and I wanted to branch out, start hiring people and such, and so I did it differently. I went at it, and I started hiring people and growing the company, and it didn't take but about 2 years before the IRS came and shut me down.
Just point of record, remember we tell you guys why it's so important to get your financials dialed in. And then the only way you learn as an entrepreneur is through the continual process of trial and error and having the resilience to get going again, or a lot of people give up. So this was a point when, because he went deep into this with me when it happened, and it was a painful part of your life, but you had to have the resilience to be like, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna learn from it and go back after it.
Yeah. I think I was lucky. I was in my late 20s, didn't have a family, and I could deal with it. But it's interesting when I'll never forget, I pull up at the office 10 o'clock, because I was a big executive back then, right? I pull up 10 o'clock with my loafers, and there's this guy standing out in front in a suit, a bad suit, and I said, can I help you? He said, oh, I'm from the IRS, and I'm here to talk about your delinquent payroll taxes. And I said, what's payroll taxes? That's where I came from. I knew the trade, I knew the work very well, and was skilled at it, and I had no idea how to run a business. Sound familiar? So at that particular time, they had taken about everything, and I got this book. It was called The E-Myth, and Brandon and I both know the author real well, but I took the book, and it talked about that a business is not the work, a business is a system, an overall system made up of different processes. And for some reason, that really spoke to me. Now I got it. I said, this is what a business is about. And I took a step back and started looking at my business and started to blueprint it, if you will, on what are the necessary processes I need to have in place. And I'm just reading the book. This is before the internet, by the way. And I'm reading through the book, deciphering it, and I came up with the plan. And it took me, as soon as I started executing on the plan based on what I read in the book, it took me 2 years. I paid the IRS back, got my business back, and went on from there. But because I had that experience of the failure and then the learning of what a business really is, a business is a machine that you build and you operate the machine, I became a turnaround expert because I had screwed mine up so bad, like I knew how to fix it immediately. And I started buying distressed companies. And I really got in the business of buying, fixing, and selling distressed companies. So over the course of my career from there, I don't know, I probably acquired over 100 companies, put them together, shaped them which way, and I've now done 6 major transactions over the last 20 years, 6 transactions of building and selling them for significant sales prices. And each time I get a little bit better at understanding how the system works.
And now your last transaction was with a major institution, because some of these I have to assume you sold to other bigger HVAC companies, or did you keep them all?
No, I sold, the first few of them I sold to national firms, and then the last 3 of them I sold to private equity.
So you've been, because these guys have heard about my experience in private equity, and the experience of taking the check from them is great, right? But then the life after the deal with private equity, how would you kind of describe, because you're really deep in it now, right? Because you're, what, 1.5 years into that relationship?
Well, that one, yeah, my latest one. They all act different, right? They're all a little bit different. I've had some ones that are really easy, but I find that the smaller businesses that I had, and when I'm smaller, less than 100 million, they left me alone. Now that we're a lot bigger, they're on you. right? And us entrepreneurs, we like our freedom, right? We like our time and the things, the way we do things. And sometimes you got to understand you're taking your business, your entrepreneurial ran business, that you had a lot of liberty, do it the way you wanted it and match your particular schedule. Now you're taking it to a pretty serious corporate environment. And that's a rub, that's a challenge.
Yeah, because now you're having board meetings, now you're on conference calls, you got 19-year-olds that graduated with MBAs telling you how to run your business based on what the numbers say. And it gets a little bit frustrating when you're hearing things that you've tried 20 years ago and it didn't work.
Yeah, I have great partners now. It's a different way of attacking the business. When you're kind of doing it on your own and making up as you go, willing to be innovative and experiment and try things, and a more corporate environment is a little more less risk adverse, and I don't try things as much. So